Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing today? Welcome back to my English live lessons. My name is Shelly. If you don't know who I am, if you do know who I am, well, welcome back. We got a great lesson this morning for you. It's a great lesson to jumpstart your weekend. We're going to go over 5 collocation vocabulary words, 5 today. And if you know these 5, like I said in the title, if you know these 5 collocation vocabulary words, if you use them when you are speaking, then you're probably a fluent English speaker. If you don't know them, that's fine, because if you do get to know how to use these, then you will become a fluent English speaker. All right, so we're going to go over 5 collocation words today. I'm going to put the lesson on the screen like I always do. I'll give you the definition of each vocabulary word. I'll give you an example sentence, and then we will do a short little quiz where you will test to see if you can remember what they mean. Now, if this is your first time hearing the word collocation, collocation is basically a 2 or 3 word vocabulary word. It's like a phrasal verb. So we get 2 or 3 words, we put them together, they become a new word, a new vocabulary word. So each word on its own has a different meaning. When you put them together, it creates a new meaning. And we're going to go over 5 of those today. So like I said, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to do that right now. So today's lesson is right here. So this is from sort of like a short, quick series that I'm doing right now, a live series. I've been doing slang so far. I've done 3 episodes of my 5 slang words you should know to jumpstart your weekend. This is the first one for collocations. So this is number 1 series, episode 1 for collocations, but episode 4 in total, because these are going to be short lessons. We're not going to go over like 10, 15, 20 vocabulary words. We're only going to cover 5. So let's jump right into it, and let's get to our first collocation. Our first collocation is come to terms with. I'm just making the screen a little bigger. That way everybody can see the word. The vocabulary word is come to terms with. Come to terms with. All right, so does anybody, if you do know what this means, then now is the time to tell me in the comment section. If you don't know what it is, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a example sentence. So I'm going to put the example sentence on the screen right now. So looking at this example sentence, can you understand what it means? So the example sentence says, it took him a while to come to terms with the fact that he wasn't going to win the competition. It took him a while to come to terms with the fact that he wasn't going to win the competition. So through this example sentence, what do you think it means? What do you think it means? All right, so let's break this sentence down a little bit. So let's say, this person, this guy, he's doing some type of competition, right? He's doing some type of competition. And whenever you enter a competition, at least myself, whenever I enter any type of game, any type of competition, my goal is to win. But not only my goal, my expectation, my belief is I'm going to win. Right? So I always go into any game that I play thinking that I will win. Right? That's just, I think most people are like that. Anytime you play a game, you believe you will win. Now, in this sentence, it says it took him a while, so it took some time. Now we've got the collocation, to come to terms with. Now, what is the fact? Come to terms with what? the fact that he wasn't going to win the competition. So basically, what come to terms means, it means you're going to accept something. You're going to accept something that maybe is difficult or unpleasant. All right, so you're going to accept something. Accept something that is difficult or unpleasant. Now, of course, like I said, we always believe we're going to win. We always believe we're going to win. But sometimes there is a point where you realize, oh, you know what? I'm probably not going to win. Right? So at that point, that's when you come to terms with it. You accept it. You understand it. It's difficult. You don't want to accept it because you always expect to win. But if you come to terms with it, it means that you understand. You know, it's you're accepting a difficult thing. And in this sentence, he is accepting, he is understanding that he will not win. Some people can't come to terms with it. You know, maybe they will cheat and lie and say, oh, no, I won. You know, even if they lost, they'll say, no, I won. The other person cheated. Right? So they didn't come to terms with it. All right. So if you come to terms with it, you accept it, you believe it, you understand it, even though it's difficult. Okay, this is a great collocation. It's a very high level collocation. So again, one more time, the example sentence on the screen. It took him a while to come to terms with the fact that he wasn't going to win the competition. Okay, let's look at number 2. Hit the nail on the head. Hit the nail on the head. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an example sentence on the screen, just as I did a second ago. Here, my example sentence is, when Sarah said we need better communication, she really hit the nail on the head. Okay. Let's do another example sentence as well. Let's put one more example sentence onto the screen, just so we completely understand. Okay, here's another example sentence. You really hit the nail on the head when you said the movie was too long. You really hit the nail on the head when you said the movie was too long. All right, so let's break this collocation down. To hit the nail on the head. Now, here we're actually talking this collocation. This kind of idiom is coming from maybe construction. Now, I want you to imagine that you've got a nail. You know, a nail is going to be kind of looking like it's got that pointed edge. What we're going to do here is we want to get a hammer and hit the nail. So we call this point right here, the very, very top, we call that the head. Okay, this is the head. So if you hit the nail on the head, that means it's a perfect hit. The nail will go directly into the wood, directly into the surface. right? If you hit the nail here on the edge, maybe the nail will break. Maybe the nail will go on the right. But if you want to hit it right in the top, this is right here, the head. So you're hitting something directly. You're hitting the nail directly on top of the head. That means it's a perfect hit. And that's what this means. It means that, you know, what you have said is completely accurate. So what you have said is completely accurate. So, you know, maybe I said, yeah, that movie is way too long. And then your friend goes and watches the movie. So then your friend would say, you know what? It really was too long. You really hit the nail on the head with that. Okay. The previous sentence was, you know, Sarah said we need better communication. She's absolutely correct. She's perfectly correct. So she really hit the nail on the head. So when someone is, you know, perfectly correct to describe a situation, that means they hit the nail on the head. Okay, so here I've got my example sentence to describe exactly what is causing a situation or a problem. Okay, this exactly is the key word here. It's a perfect description. Okay. Okay. Again, these are difficult collocations today. Let's go to number 3. Go the extra mile. Go the extra mile. Now, for me, this sentence, I'm going to give you an example sentence. All right, so there we go. My example sentence is there. She always goes the extra mile for her clients, which is why they love working with her. She always goes the extra mile for her clients, which is why they love working for her or with her. All right, so if you're going the extra mile, that means you're making more effort than is expected. You're doing more than is required. All right, so just think of it exactly what the words are saying. So you're going the extra mile. So just let's do it visually. Okay, so you are here. Now, to complete any task, you must go to this point. Okay, so if you can reach here, let's say if you can reach here, then you've completed the task perfectly. Okay, that's all that was required. You must go from here to here. This is the complete task. But if you go the extra mile, that means you've gone more. You've gone all the way to here. You did extra. You were only required to do here. That's all you're required is this much, but you did much more. So if you do more than is expected, more than that is required, then we would say you go the extra mile. Okay. So let's put that example or that definition in here. Okay, so to make more effort than is expected or required. To make more effort than is expected or required. All right, so for her in this sentence, she is always going the extra mile for her clients. So she is doing more for her clients than is expected. That's why they love working with her. Okay, so number 3, I think, is probably so far, out of the 3 we've learned so far, we've learned the very first one, come to terms with. That means you're accepting something that's not so happy, something that's difficult, something that's unpleasant. Number 2 is hit the nail on the head. You describe something perfectly. You describe something exactly. And then number 3, go the extra mile. Do something which is more than expected. So I think of those 3, go the extra mile is probably the easiest. It's probably the easiest. Hello, YFS. How are you? All right, let's look at number 4. Number 4 is take something into account. Take something into account. Now let's look at an example sentence for that. We need to take the weather into account before planning the outdoor event. I'll leave for the last example sentence or definition up there. Number 4, take something into account. We need to take the weather into account before planning the outdoor event. We need to take the weather into account. So what do you guys think this means? If you take the weather into account. Okay, when you take something into account, that means you have to consider something when you make a decision. Okay, so you have to consider something. You have to think about something when you make a decision. Okay, so consider or think about something when you make a decision. So if we look at this example sentence, it says we need to take the weather into account before planning the outdoor event. If you're planning an outdoor event, let's say you're planning a picnic, you're planning a barbecue, you're planning any type of outdoor event, then before you plan it, you need to think about the weather. You need to consider the weather. So you need to go on your, weather app. You have to make sure that the weather is okay for that outdoor event. If the weather is not okay, then you have to plan around that. Do I need to put up covers, tarps? How do I plan this? So I need to think about something before I make the decision. That's take something into account. YFS, so what we're doing here is we're going over 5 collocations. So number 4 is take something into account. I'm giving you guys example sentences, which you can see in the banner there, the red banner. And I'm also giving you the definition after. After we go over all 5, there will be a quiz where you must choose which collocation to choose. Don't worry, before the quiz starts, I'll review all 5 of these again. All right, so to take something into account, it means you consider something. You think about something when you make a decision. All right, so, if I'm planning an outdoor event, I need to take the weather into account. Okay, if I'm planning to drive across America, across Japan, where I live now, maybe I need to take gasoline prices into account. All right. If I'm having a dinner party, I'm going to have a party for people and I'm going to make dinner. It's a dinner party. I need to take allergies, food allergies into account. All right. I need to consider those things before I make the decision of what I'll make. Okay. So take something into account means you think about it when you're making the decision. All right, so let's go into last one, which is number 5. Bring something to light. Bring something to light. All right, and let's put an example sentence as a banner here. Here's my example sentence. The investigation brought to light several problems with the company's procedures. Yeah, I'm going to give you another one sec here. I'm trying to think of a new sentence here. I'm going to give you a new sentence for bring something to light. This is also a very difficult one. All right, this is also a difficult one. So let's look at the example sentence that I've got on the screen right now. The investigation brought to light. Okay, so bring something to light. The investigation brought to light several problems with the company's procedures. Okay, now if we have even a simpler sentence here, maybe I could say, maybe that the new information brought the mistake to light. The new information brought the mistake to light. All right, so we got two example sentences. First was the investigation brought to light several problems with the company's procedures. Now, what I want you to think of when you think of bring something to light, okay, I want you to focus on the word light here. You bring something to light. Now, what this means is that you have like a spotlight. Okay, I've got actually lighting here. I'm gonna put the light onto the issue, onto something. Now I can see it. Without the light, I can't see it. So in this situation, the investigation, I investigated the company. And when I investigated the company, I could see there are several problems with the company's procedures. So the investigation brought to light several problems. That means the investigation put a spotlight, put like a flashlight onto these problems. Good morning, XYZ. You couldn't wake up. What did you miss? We're going over 5 collocation words today. 5 collocation words. So I'll review them all again in a second. So don't worry. And then we're going to do a little quiz. It's a short little 5 vocabulary lesson today. 5 vocabulary words. But if you know these 5 words, these collocation words, you will definitely be fluent. All right, so here, bring something to light, right? It means that you're going to make something known. You're going to reveal something. All right, so you reveal something. You make something known. You're going to show something. All right, so this investigation brought to light many problems with the company's procedures. The new information brought the mistake to light. Okay, so this information, now I can see the mistake. Okay, so also a quite difficult collocation, but something, a collocation that you should know. So let's go over all of the collocations again. Number 1 was come to terms with. Come to terms with. Come to terms with means that you accept something, but you're accepting something that's difficult or unpleasant. For example, the example sentence that I gave was, it took him a while to come to terms with the fact that he wasn't going to win the competition. All right, so you go into any competition, you believe you will win. But at one point, he realized, he understood, oh, I'm not going to win. Right? And that's difficult. That's difficult to accept. So you come to terms with it. All right, let's go to the second one, which was hit the nail on the head. Hit the nail on the head. My example sentence here, when Sarah said we need better communication, she really hit the nail on the head. Okay. Another example sentence is, you really hit the nail on the head when you said the movie was too long. You really hit the nail on the head when you said the movie was too long. All right, so this means that you are describing exactly what is causing a situation. You're describing exactly what a problem is. No problem, YFS, no problem. As long as you're watching, as long as you're learning, that is great. All right, so if you hit the nail on the head, you're describing exactly what a situation is, or describing exactly what the problem is. At number 3, we learned go the extra mile. I think this is probably the easiest one of our group. If you go the extra mile, that means you're doing something more than is expected, more than is required. So my example sentence was, she always goes the extra mile for her clients, which is why they love working with her. She does more than is expected. She doesn't do the bare minimum. She does more. So her clients love her. All right, number 4 was take something into account. Take something into account means you consider something. You think about something when you make a decision. Okay, so my example sentence was, we need to take the weather into account before planning the outdoor event. Okay, if you're planning any outdoor event, you really need to take the weather into account. You need to think about the weather. You need to consider the weather when you make that decision. So we need to take the weather into account before planning the outdoor event. So will the weather be nice? Will it be bad? That will determine if we do the outdoor event or how we do the outdoor event. And the last one, bring something to light. It means you're going to reveal something. You're going to show something. So my example sentence was, the investigation brought to light several problems with the company's procedures. So that means I investigated the company, and because of my investigation, I could find many problems with the company. If I didn't do the investigation, then I wouldn't know these problems. But because I did the investigation, it brought to light, it showed me many problems with the company. All right, so those are the 5 collocations, very, very advanced collocations. But if you know how to use these, you will definitely be a fluent English speaker. Now, anybody watching this, the title of this lesson is 5 collocations to test your English fluency. If you know these words, you're probably fluent. Now, we're doing a live lesson on this right now, but I will be having a video coming out soon with a different 5 collocations, but the theme is the same. If you know these idioms or these collocations, then you're probably fluent. In that video, I'll do a similar thing. I'll explain each collocation, but I'll also do a speaking exercise. So we'll do a speaking practice, and we'll see how we use it in conversation. And then you'll have a little quiz at the end. So make sure you keep an eye out for that video. It will be coming out very, very soon. Okay, so 5 that we learned today. And what I'll do is let's put all of them onto the screen. That way you know which ones to use. All right, so we've got come to terms with. We had hit the nail on the head. Okay. We had go the extra mile. We have take something into account. I'm going to put this all as a banner so that way when you do your quiz, you know which collocations to choose from. And then we've got the last one, bring something to light. All right, so these are the ones that we learned today. These are the 5 idioms: come to terms with, hit the nail on the head, go the extra mile, take something into account, bring something to light. So what we will do next is let's go over a quiz. You're going to see a sentence on the screen with a blank space. What your job is to do is to choose which collocation will complete the sentence. So here it says, it took her a long time to something, the fact that the project was canceled. It took her a long time to something, the fact that the project was canceled. What collocation would you put here? So for me, this one here, so it's taking a long time to, and I would say to realize, to understand, this is bad news. The project was canceled, right? I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it, but I have to end up believing it. So it took her a long time to, and my answer here would be come to terms with the fact that the project was canceled. It took her a long time to come to terms with the fact that the project was canceled. YFS, come to terms with. Perfect. All right, so here, what does come to terms with mean? If we go back to our definitions, to come to terms with means you're accepting something that is difficult or unpleasant. In this situation, the project was canceled. So accepting that, understanding, knowing that, okay, it's canceled. I get it. That means you come to terms with it. But for her, it took her a long time. She or he didn't want to believe it at first. XYZ, come to terms with. Perfect. Okay, so here again, it took her a long time. At the beginning, she didn't want to believe it. Maybe she kept saying, no, this is not true. It's not true. It's not true. The project's not canceled. Maybe it's just delayed. But finally, she believed, she understood it. She came to terms with it. All right, good job, XYZ. All right, I'm gonna try to go, let's go to this one next. This one right here. I'm gonna jump around here with my quiz questions just to keep you on your toes. All right, here, also difficult. We got a business English sentence. The audit, something, several financial irregularities that no one had noticed before. Okay, the audit. Audit means investigation. Investigation. And usually we audit a company. And when you audit a company, when you investigate a company, you're investigating, you know, their books, their accounting, you know, all of the money that's going in and out of the company. You know, if you want to audit that, that means you're investigating it. So here, the audit, something, several financial irregularities. So an irregularity is when something is not normal. Something looks not normal. So it's a lot of different actions, a lot of things they're doing is not correct. It's not normal. That no one had noticed before. So this investigation showed me some strange things in their books. All right, so which one is it? Where you do something, you investigate something, and then it shows you something, it reveals something. All right, so anything you do where it shows, it highlights, it reveals something, the collocation for that would be bring to light. Now, because this sentence is past tense, I have to put this past tense also. The audit brought to light several financial irregularities that no one had noticed before. Okay, this is going to be brought to light. All right, XYZ, perfect. Bring something to light. So we have to, because it's a past tense sentence, I do have to make sure it's past. So brought to light. So YFS, good try, good try. Okay, let's go to this one now. When you said the meeting was disorganized because there was no agenda, you really something. When you said the meeting was disorganized because there was no agenda, you really something. So I told you, you know, this meeting is super not organized. It's disorganized because there's no agenda. Now you've come into the meeting and you see, wow, you are so right, Shelley. This meeting is unorganized. This meeting is not going very smoothly because there's no agenda. So what you said is exactly true. Okay, so we got YFS, XYZ. Need or take something into account, not take something into account, not that. So let's go over my explanation again. I told you that this meeting was not organized. You know, every time I go to these meetings, it's not organized because there's no agenda. So it's just all chaos in there. And you've come to the meeting and you've seen, wow, you were so right, Shelley. You were like perfectly right. There you go. Hit the nail on the head. Perfect. YFS, good job. When you said the meeting was disorganized because there was no agenda, you really hit the nail on the head. XYZ, hit the nail on the head. Perfect. So again, remember, hit the nail on the head. It means that you are explaining something exactly how it is. Usually it's a problem. Usually it's something that's not good. Okay, let's do a couple more. All right, this one is John always something at work, which is why he got promoted so quickly. John always something at work, which is why he got promoted so quickly. Promoted means that you have gone up a position. Maybe you've gone up 1 or 2 positions within your company. So let's say you're a junior manager, and you get promoted. That means now you're a senior manager. So John got promoted very quickly. Why? What does he always do? Wi-Fi, can you pin the words and description on the same time? I can't remember. Yeah, if I put the description of each one, the whole page would be a banner. Let's see, actually, one sec. Let's see if I can. Let me work on that. For the next time, let me work on that. I might be able to do a split screen, but then it's going to be really small too, though. But yes, go the extra mile. YFS, go the extra mile. So now we just have to worry about grammar. John always, if we focus on grammar, go the extra mile is the correct collocation. We have to make sure that our subject and verb match. John always goes the extra mile at work, which is why he got promoted so quickly. All right, good job, XYZ and YFS. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, the Versant videos. If anybody's watching this right now on the replay, or if you're watching live right now, yeah, I've got a new Versant video out. I put one out yesterday. Check that out. It's a great sentence to help improve your fluency. So it's Versant Part D. Now, even if you're not taking the Versant test, I really like this style of practice, because what this video is I'm going to give you 3 phrases. You'll just hear them. You won't see them. You're going to hear 3 phrases. And then after you hear the 3 phrases, you have to put the phrases together to make a sentence. So it really helps your fluency, helps your chunking, really helps your speaking. So make sure you guys check that out. If you want to improve your fluency, check out the Versant video that I just posted yesterday. Singular, yes. John, he goes, no problem. You like the Versant videos too. That's great. That's great. Okay, so let's do one more, and we're going to do one for homework. Number 4, before making a final decision, we need to something everyone's feedback. Before we make a final decision, we need to something everyone's feedback. I'm going to try to do something here. Let's see if this works, YFS. I'm going to try doing something. I don't know if it'll work, but let's try. I'm going to try putting all of the words onto the screen. But yeah, there's not enough space in the banners for me to do that. So unfortunately, yeah, I cannot do that. I'll still think of something though. Take something into account. Perfect. Before making a final decision, we need to take something into account, everyone's feedback. So how do we make this into a sentence? All right, so this one here, to make it into a perfect sentence, we're going to say take into account. That's how we would do this right here, take into account. And then the something, you know, my original collocation is take something into account. Everyone's feedback. This is the something. Okay, this is the something. Sorry, things are just opening all over my screen right now. All right, so everyone's feedback is the something. All right, so XYZ, you have a comment here. If I could say, I like the listening and reading ones, 3-hour ones. Yes, so I've got a 3-hour video on listening and reading. Yes, and I'm still not able to read the advanced reading in 15 seconds. Yeah, it just takes time. You just have to keep doing it and doing it. Make sure when you're practicing this, that if you're doing it over multiple days or you're doing it multiple times, make sure there's not a big gap. So, for example, I study today, then 2 weeks later, I do it again. There's too much time in between. All right, so improving the speed which you read is a skill. And the more you do it, the faster you get. You'll get there. I believe you can do it, XYZ. So yes, before making a final decision, we need to take into account everyone's feedback. Now, I could change this sentence. Like I could say, let's put it up here. You know, I could say before making a final decision, we need to take everyone's feedback into account. Same meaning. Here, I put the feedback in the middle of the sentence. In number 4, which is right here, I put the feedback at the end of the sentence. But they have the same meaning. This sentence has the same meaning. Yes, XYZ, sure, I can do that. I can make a new one. Okay, so we've got some quiz questions. Let's review all of these. There's still one more. That is going to be your homework. Number one, it says it took her a long time to come to terms with the fact that the project was canceled. This means to come to terms with means that you finally understand and you realize, you accept something that is not happy, something that is not pleasant, something that is sad, something that is disappointing. So that you realize it, you understand it, you accept it. So here, project's canceled. She didn't want to believe it, but then finally she could accept it. Number two, when you said the meeting was disorganized because there was no agenda, you really hit the nail on the head, right? So my description of this meeting was perfect. Hit the nail on the head is I'm describing something exactly, usually something that's not good. Number three, John always goes the extra mile at work, which is why he got promoted so quickly. All right, this means you do more than is expected. You do more than is expected. You do more than is required. You go the extra mile. Number four, before making a final decision, we need to take into account everyone's feedback. We need to consider everyone's feedback. All right, if you need to consider something before you make a decision or when you're making the decision, that's take into account. That's take into account. Then number five, brought to light. The audit brought to light several financial irregularities that no one had noticed before. So when you investigate something, when you do something, you are showing some problem. You're revealing some problem. Okay, so you're showing something, you're informing, you're revealing something. Okay, so number 6. This is for homework. You need to something the fact that she might be late due to traffic. You need to something the fact that she might be late due to traffic. So what I'd like you to do is make sure you choose one of the idioms. You can see the idioms on the screen. Come to terms with, hit the nail on the head, go the extra mile, take something into account, bring something to light. Choose one of those to complete the sentence. Now, as motivation, as an extra bonus, if you complete this question, if you do this homework, that means you need to put it in the comment section. You need to tell me what the answer is. If you do that, I will give you a bonus collocation in the comment section. All right, so anybody who answers will get a bonus collocation. I'll give you an extra idiom, extra collocation if you reply, if you answer this question. And as always, if you guys have any questions, comments about this lesson or about any English topic, just let me know. Leave it in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I think it was YFS mentioned, again, like I do have a Verisant video that I just put out yesterday. Make sure you guys check that out. I'll have some more speaking lessons coming out. XYZ, you like the reading and listening, so I'll try to make another long 3-hour one of that, and I'll try to get that out for everyone. Right now I'm working on a speaking one though, so it's going to be a long lesson, like the reading and listening, but it's going to be speaking involved as well. But I definitely will do that for you, XYZ. All right, so if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you guys all for joining. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys all in the next lesson. See ya.